So I've made a few videos about this. No, not the keyboard, but it's this, the CM64 PCB. It's no surprise that I really like the PCB. For what you pay and what you get is just a bargain. The PCB comes in at a price of just under $40, which is just amazing for what you get. Because you get perky RGBs with underglow, south-facing Kale hot swap sockets supporting 3 and 5 pin switches, QMK and VL compatibility. And the layout is just perfect. A 60% with arrow keys is just such a convenience. The CM64 is an alternative to the GK61 and the DZ60, which runs $15 cheaper than DZ and is south-facing, unlike the GKs. But it doesn't support any type of wireless connectivity, just the Type-C connection. But this does mean that the PCB can support any type of case that supports the DZ60 and the GK61. So Tofu60, Blade60, Rebel60, yes, a lot of the 60%. On paper, this seems to be a great option, may even be the best for the price, but there are a few things that I kinda stumble upon when building with the PCB. I need to get this out of the way first, but if you care about your PCB or your board in general, make sure to use anti-static PE foam when you mod, or just use foam sticker that KBD or other manufacturers offer. It is way safer. The reason behind this is because when I first built my Tofu, initially I used PE foam that I thought was static free because I used it in multiple builds and it was fine until a few days after I realized the bottom half of the PCB, the RGB wasn't working. The RGB function keys were all over the place, none of the RGB commands did what it's supposed to. I'm not an engineer of any kind. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is caused by ESD, an electrostatic discharge where static build-up could short circuit a PCB. That's from my understanding from reading stuff online. If you guys are smarter, which I know you are, you can explain more in the comment section. Not sure how could this have happened, but maybe it has to do with the fact that the Type-C connector was in contact with the case. A metal case. In normal situation, this wouldn't be an issue unless you try to O-ring mod the board. To gain more flex on the board, I used O-rings that were a bit too thick that elevated the PCB too much, making the connection to be in contact with the metal board. Maybe it's all speculation, I'm not an engineer or anything. But from the O-rings is where I found another problem. So prior to this, the board keeps resetting itself. I thought it was because of the Type-C being in contact, but later I found out that it was caused by the O-rings. So, every time excess pressure is put on the O-ring in the middle of the PCB on the screw holes, the whole thing just resets. I thought this only happens to this particular PCB, but after I got a fresh new CM64, the first thing I did was to test it out. And no surprise, the same thing happens. So, what I had to do was to put smaller O-rings to reduce the pressure of the screws onto the PCB, but only on the middle and the left part of the standoffs. So it was tilted and the flex was inconsistent, but it worked. All of this set me back a couple of weeks just to find some new PCB since they were out of stock, which was super annoying, but luckily I found some and it did take a couple of days to arrive, but I solved the problem and guess it all worked out, I guess. I just wanted to make this vid to talk about my experience with the PCB and the Tofu. And leave a comment if you had the same problem. I'm kinda curious to know if this only happened to me or you guys have the same problem too. As always, if you like the vid, why not give it a like and subscribe while you're down there. That's all from me, stay safe and see ya.